Welcome to another session of data visualization and data science in the training of data science and machine learning. So we are starting the last session or the last, I would say, the last part of data science. Then we'll go to machine learning. So in machine learning, we'll only focus on supervised learning, because I believe that on supervised learning you have the good starting point to go into other types of machine learning. So today we will learn about Seaborn, then we'll have three parts of Seaborn, then we'll go to pandas, then plotly in terms of data visualization. You can explore other visualization, for example, base map, and the other visual like what of it's something like that. But we just focus on the bare the programming or visualization that is currently popular right now in the world. So let's get started. So first of all, I have to import Seaborn. So let's import Seaborn as SNS. And because Seaborn is made from Matplotlib, they use the same API. We will also need to write Matplotlib inline, Matplotlib inline, so that we should learn the visualization inside the Jupyter notebook. So that's how it's done. If you are using PyCharm, it's fine. You don't have to write this. So Matplotlib has got pre-stored data sets that you can use for experiments, and we need to import that data set inside our notebook so that we can visualize it and use it as an example. So we have the tips library. So I've just like the tips variable. I will load that data into that variable. We have SNS, because we have already explicitly said that we are importing Seaborn as SNS, so we need to write SNS. And Seaborn has got a method called load dataset underscore dataset, and inside that dataset we need to put the name of the data. So we have the tips dataset. Let's learn this. I'm using Google Colabs, so it's online. It has to be fast. So let's check the head of that data set. Remember, because this is a data set, it means it has already been pre-processed and it's in the form of data frame. So it's very easy to tamper around. Let's run this. You see now we do have the total bill, tips. So this is a tips dataset whereby you are checking the amount of tips depending on some other variables. So let's get started with visualization. Now, the first visualization is called distribution plot, or dist plot. Now, before I go further, let me add let me insert a cell, let's say a text cell, to say that this is a distribution visualization plot. So let me write distribution plot, or plots rather. So these distribution plots are the ones that we are seeing now, because we'll go to categorical plots and whatsoever. So we have the distribution plot. So it's called, we need to write sns.displot. I don't know, they have changed their naming, so it's called displot rather than distplot. So in this method, we need to put the tips column that we want. So in this case, we want to display the total bill. So we want the total bill. And if I learn this, let's see what will happen. You see, I have a distribution plot. So this distribution plot is just showing me the summary of what is happening with the total bills. And you see that a lot of people are having a total bill of maybe between 10 and 20. And there are lots of people, they are more than 40. I think they're nearest 50. And you can add some other parameters, for example, KDE. So it's kernel density estimation. We can say true. Let's see what will happen. So it's just the standard normalization of what is happening inside the data. And you say that you want to add the beans, these bars. You can add also another parameter here called beans. And let's say I want them 300. But the problem is, if we learn here, and let's say we want them 300, you see there are lots of visualization of these bars, and you can't even lead and you can't make sense of it. So make sure that you put the minimum number of beans, or just leave it out. Seaborn is very intelligent to give you the appropriate number of beans. So we are done with dist plot. Let's talk about joint plot. Joint plot. So let's call joint plot by running SNS dot joint plot. You see that it's just a simple line of code, and you're able to run these visualizations. So joint plot needs to have, if you can see here, an X and Y parameter. So we need to make sure we explicitly say those things. As the name suggests, joint plot, you can add two variables that you want to display. So if I say here total bill, and on my y-axis, let's say my y needs to have the tip column values, then you need to explicitly direct the data frame, the method to the data that you are taking the columns from. Then you need to show or the type or the kind that you want to display. So in this case, let's start with a scatter plot. So if I say kind scatter plot, and let's learn this, you see that I have displayed the scatter plots you can see here, and you can see the distribution plot above here. So I have joined them, and you can make sense of it because you have tips here, and the higher the total bill, the higher the tip. You can see the tip is above $10. But however, there's something interesting about this joint plot, because you can add some extra, you can change the kind visualization. You can say here, you say, okay, I don't want scatter, I want hexagons. Learn this. Let's see. So depending on the data, that's why you see the delay. But see how cool is it? You see now the hexagon are very important, because you see the darker the hexagon, the more concentrated the area is. We can also add the change the kind as well. You can say I want regression charts. So on regression charts, it's if you are in regression in machine learning, you know what this means. You see that a lot of people, they are closer to the line here, they're converging to the line. So that's what the data is saying. So if you are in regression, we can refer to this. And we can also show the KDE here, kernel density estimation. So inside the KDE, you'll be able to see the concentration. So it's like contours. So you see the area that are very concentrated, that's where the high number of people are. So let's continue and talk about the pair plot. So the pair plot is very interesting because it gives us the easier way to analyze our data as soon as possible. So let's say here sns.pairplot, and let's see the tips. Let's learn the tips, because you don't need to explicitly say the columns that you want to display. You can just say the tips, because it actually helps you to analyze the data as soon as possible. So you can see that I'm able to relate the data. So you can see the size and the tip here. If you see the size and the size, it makes sense that it should have a bar chart. But in this case, you can see that you can relate the size and the tip, the size and the total bill, the tip and the total bill. And I'm telling you, you can get lots of information. Now, without further ado, because we are refraining from explaining what's happening here, because we need to make this tutorial very short as soon as possible. But you can relate. For example, if I say the size and the total bill, you see there are gaps here. You know, the reason why is because in this restaurant, they have predefined sizes of meal. So it makes sense that size singa kali pakati they would or something like that, or they're having variable a scale, but it makes sense using so. But however, you can add some other parameters here to make more interesting. We can say hue is equal to 6. So we want to categorize this data depending on 6. If I learn this, you'll be able to see that it has differentiated between female and males. So you can see lots of males are the ones that are eating at this restaurants, and they are buying expensive meals. So let's continue to lag plot. So on lag plot, lag plots actually help you to understand the point where something happened, or a point where, or in this case, someone bought a meal. So that's what lag plots are all about. So in this case, let's take an example for a lag plot and see what it does. So let's say lag plot here, and we need to put a single column. So let's in this case talk about the total bill right here. Let's learn this. You see this lag plot here, it shows the point where someone buy total bill. These are very important, because if we go here and talk about the dist plots, so let's say SNS to dist plot, and let's do the dist plots of the tips and learn this, and let's see the difference. You can see kunina with the dist plot color. See, it's not showing us my points somewhere and sana guri, but me remaining, because you see here but when someone bought a meal, but let's go here. You see by the gap. So it makes us to learn my point somewhere and sana bangi use. So that's the lag plot. Now let's go to another type of category of visualization. Now this visualization, we call them the categorical data visualization. So let me put some text here. Let me insert a text. Let's say as categorical data visualization. Let me put, all right. You know, it's quite different. Google Gloves is quite different from Jupyter, so make sure you are learning the difference. But otherwise, I think 95% is the same. Now, on a categorical data, let me import NumPy here, because we will need a numpy, SNS here. First of all, we need to show the we need to learn how we can do categorical data visualization. Now we will start with bar plots. So bar plots, basically these are bar charts. So let me do SNS bar plot, and inside that bar plot it requires us to have the x variable. So the x, let's say we need to put 6 between a male and female. Y, let's put total bill so that we can see how many people they are, how many females and males they have total bill. Now this bar plot is very, very powerful. So the tips is the same thing. We need to make sure that we are showing that the tips data set is imported into this function. Now the bar plot has got a certain feature called the estimator. So the estimator is just a function that maps our values in the show the chart. So let's put the estimator and see, and if we say the estimator is equal to, we can put np numpy. We have imported no, this is not what we need here. We need to make sure we're learning this as np. Sorry for that, shouldn't be SNS. Let me learn this because it has overridden my my values, and you can actually visualize these variables right here to get to know different variable names that are there. So yeah, that's how you can get to know these variables, but otherwise make sure that you are giving them special names. Now let's continue. Now the estimator right here needs to have a function. So numpy has got different types of functions. So for example, if we put here and say std, standard deviation, and learn this, so you can have the number of females that are in that standard deviation, that they are converging to a certain value, and you can see that most people, they are converging to this bill. I think it's above $9. And we can also say I want the sum of males that have the sum of total bills of males and females. So if we go here, you see lots of the sum of bills for males, maybe it's between 3,000 and 3,500 US dollars, and females are in 1,500 US dollars. So you can use the estimator to map the output to your liking. So let's go to count plot. Now on the count plot, it's just counting the values, so it's nothing fancy. So let's put the values that we want, and we want to count the number of males and females. So here I'll put 6, and data I'll put tips and learn this, and let's just use it to count. And you can see in these data sets there are above, I think, over 150 males, and in here there are over 80 females. So that's the use of count plot. Now let's go to other fancy visualization called box plot. So this is good for those who are doing financial analytics and they are into stock market and stock trading or other general business finance. Now if I say SNS here dot box plot, I need to put the x and y coordinates. So I'll put the x, which in this case I want to put the day, where people come in and order the food. And let me put here the total bill as well. The total bill, and I need to add the data. So the data is going to be equal to tips right here. Let me learn this. You see now we do have a box plot. So those who are into financial analytics or stock trading, they know what these are all about. And I can also separate this depending on the sex. So if I say U here and put sex, let's learn this. You can appreciate that it has separated the values and whatnot. So you can visualize depending on the box plot if you are familiar with such kind of visualization. Now, let's see on how we can add another visualization. We call it another visualization called variant plot. So it's just variant plot. So why is it called variant? Is because of the way it's shaped. Now, if I say SNS here dot var line plot, and let's say x is equal to, let me put here the day, and y the total bill, and let's put the data is equal to tips, and let me add this one. Let me learn this one. You see, this is the same as these ones, but they are now in a shape like a violin or something, because these ones are showing the areas of convergence and whatnot. So it's good for those who are professionals in this field, because they actually show the kernel density expansion. And we can also add this, add a hue to this. And let's say we want to separate by 6. And you see that every 6 here has got different visualization of the viral input. And we can also split this so that we can show in the same category. So we can just say split is equal to true. And learning this, you can see instead of separating them, it has actually put them together, but separating as male and female. So let's continue. Let's talk about a strip plot. So a strip plot is the same as this, same as scatter, but it shows points. So if I say SNS dot strip plot, and in here let me just put x is equal to day, and y is, let's put it here, total bill underscore bill, and let's put data right here is equal to tips. Then let's learn this first. You see, a strip plot is the same like these ones, but instead of showing the shapes of a variable input, you can actually put you can actually have data points of this strip plot, and it's actually cool as well because it actually gives different visualization. Now you can also add the jitter, because the reason why here is because you see these points, they are very close together, you can't even lead them out. So jitter variable actually helps us to simplify things so that we can see them. So it will try so much to simplify and so that we can see them. So you can see some other points are gone, and you can see that it's a minimal difference. We can also add a hue here to separate depending on the sex. And you can see that we do have points of males and females, and we can also add Doge. So Doge is like separating them. Let's add it to true. It's same as splitting, but they're using Doge in this area. So you can see that we have separated them between points, and you can see the total bills of Saturday and Sunday. Males are coming to this restaurant, a lot of them, because I think on weekends males they hang out, so you can get those insights. And we also have a swarm plot. So swarm plot is the same as variant plot, but they show them as scatter. So let's take a look at example of SNS.swarm plot, and let's put here x, here day, and because these are the values. If you want to see the parameters, you just need to hover around the function if you are in Google Colabs, and you can see the different parameters and documentation of this sample. Then you see that it requires an x variable, a y variable, a hue variable, a data variable, an order variable, hue order, boolean Doge true or false because it's a boolean, orientation, color, palette, and whatnot. And you can see examples here with this function. So you can see examples right here, how you can work around with that. But anyways, just follow what I'm doing so that you can simplify your workflow. So a y variable here is going to be the total bill, and it requires the data. We go to tips. Let's run this. So you can see a swarm plot is the same as a viral input. So it's the same. There is not much of a difference. So lastly, in this session, let's talk about a cat plot. This one is very crazy because this is like the go-to area. So that's why it's also called a general plot. But there are, I think before the update of Seaborn, they were calling it a factor plot, but right now it's called a cat plot. Now, if I say SNS here dot cat plot like this, so let's put the x-axis, say day, and let's put another one, say y, and let's say total bill. We also need to put the data, so tips right here, and let's put kind equal to bar. Let's run this. Now, this one is very crazy, because it's just an ordinary graph, but focus on the kind. Let's focus on the kind. If I say to the kind, say, I want a strip plot. Strip here. You see, it has changed. Why? Because it can change to different bar charts that we want. If I go here and let me just go to the documentation. Okay, it's getting it's just it's very slow, but let me just change this one to swarm. Let's see what will happen. You see, let me change this to box. You see what's happening? That's the cat plot. You can just change the kind and it will change everything. So if you want to visualize your data in different sectors, you can actually use the cat plot. But anyway, it has been a very wonderful audience. So thank you very much. Let's see each other to the second part of this lesson on Seaborn. So thank you and have a wonderful